talk about this incredible, crazy event for 2021. Um, we're going to wait a couple more minutes that a couple people jump in because I have a keynote presentation I want to share with you, and I want to make sure that uh, as many people know about it, hear about it, so that we don't have to repeat too many things. Also, just to let you know that we are recording it, so if you want to share it with someone else, you can. We're also Facebook Live on the conference channel as well. And feel free to, if you copy the link, you want to share it on your page, you can while we're live as well. Once again, want to welcome everyone um, to our event. We have our chat open, so if you have any questions, feel free to um, share those questions in there. I've got several links that I'll be sharing with you um, throughout the course of this. I'm actually going to put them in there now so that when I'm ready, I could just click the send so you can actually see them. Um, so let's go ahead and have a word of prayer, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Father, we thank you once again for this opportunity to just do some incredible things uh, for young people, most of whom we don't know, and Lord, whom at some point in the future will be recipients of the effort that we do um, with this cycling ride, the walking virtually, riding virtually, and running virtually. Lord, we don't do this because there is some reward for us monetarily, but we do it because we want to see the next generation be blessed by the things that we have been blessed by. And as long as we still have our health, our the ability to move, though we may feel pain, we still want to be able to give back. So, Lord, I ask that you would be with all those that are on this call. Um, if there are ideas that they have, if there are other things that may prick their mind in our conversation, Lord, we just ask that it will bring glory and honor to you. We pray this in your name. Amen. All right, let's get started. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here for my keynote that I want to share with you. All right, so let's go ahead and launch this bad boy. All right. Let's see here. Make sure I can find my mouse. I always seem to lose it. All right. So I'm going to kind of go through this. And my mouse is disappearing here. I may actually have to, let's do this one more time here. All right. So our event is the Determined Cycling Tour. It is actually the Determined Tour because it includes not only just cycling, but we've added components of walking and running, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But our Determined Cycling Tour is, let me back up here. I knew this was going to happen. All right, so our dates are September the 12th through the 24th of 2021. We'll be leaving from South Texas Christian Academy, which is in McAllen, Texas, and we will conclude and arrive at the North Dallas Adventist Academy in Richardson, Texas. Had a great opportunity to talk to the principals this week. It's gonna be, what's today? Last week. Great time to talk with them about what, how the schools can be a part of it, since we're doing this with the desire to help them and to encourage them to also get involved. But they're going to be doing some efforts as well. So here's our agenda for tonight. We're going to be talking about the future, the past, and the future of where this all came about. We have some cycling information. Of course, that will include route, cost, all of the other things. Um, we have the dates, updates, route updates, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And then we also have how you can actually promote, support, and contribute. So my goal is really, honestly, when we get to this part, I have a PowerPoint, and we're getting some more PowerPoints from the company that we're working with is Mobile Cause. But this is a great platform which you can ask family and friends to just donate small amounts through texting, and you can reach your goal of what our specified goal is for this. And then we'll talk about sponsorship, and that's a different level. But you may have a small business, you may know someone who has a small business, you may have small businesses that you interact with, and you have a really good relationship with them, and you're given opportunity to have small business sponsorship. We're also seeking after larger sponsorships, but these are when we get to that part, we'll be talking a little bit more about that. All right, so the history. So it started in 2015. It was called the Tour de Youth, and I see some of the riders that have joined us pretty much for every ride, and so they remember. And I won't go into too many details on this, but this 2015 was our general conference in San Antonio. We rode from Dallas to San Antonio in June and July. I know it was crazy. It was about 350 miles over 5 days. Then, we got done with that ride, and I was like, I am never doing that again. It was through the hill country. I said, I'm done. And I don't know who said it, but somebody said, hey, why don't we do it again next year? Why don't we do it an annual ride? And I was like, man, I don't think I want to do this ever again. And so I went home, and it was probably about a week or so afterwards. I was like, man, I enjoyed myself. The fellowship was great. The food was great. Just an enjoyable time. Yeah, let's plan something, but let's find something a little bit flatter. So we went from Houston to New Orleans for the next 3 years, and it was an incredible. There's all sorts of adventures that come about when you do these multi-day rides. It's exciting. It's nerve-wracking. As we say, that there's moments of there's hours and hours of boredom, and then moments of pure chaos and terror. But it's one of those things that you could always say that you've done it. Ultimately, one of my goals would be to ride right across the United States. I don't know if I'm really feeling that one yet, but that's a goal that I would love to do as I get older. As my body is starting to feel the pains of Marine Corps life. It's like, man, I don't know if I'll be able to. But we all have goals and dreams, and so we decided we wanted to try something a little bit different this time. And now in 2021, we want to go from McAllen to Richardson in September, which is about 853 miles plus or minus over 14 days. And I say plus or minus, and we can talk a little bit about that, because in the next couple of weeks, I'll be taking a route survey. I'll be driving the route in a vehicle, and then marking it, GPSing it, making sure that the route that I created was one that is still viable to go on, safe to go on. I'll be in contact with the municipalities in those areas. All right, so here's all you need to know about this cycling tour. And this is just the nitty gritty, and we'll break it down once we get into it. All right, so the dates, I've given you the dates, September 12th through the 24th. Alternative dates, October the 3 through 15. We always try to have an alternative date just in case something really terrible happens, something, if it's a hurricane that comes through and is sitting on us for like 3-4 days, and it's not feasible. We do ride in the rain. We do ride when it's cold. We don't ride if there's lightning or if the situation becomes dangerous. And we let our safety and medical people make those determinations. But if you've ever ridden with a group before, and you've ever ridden in the rain, you know what that's like. It can be a little hair raising. And so we do take all the precautions. In the last couple of tours we had, it was raining on the first day. And then it was just beautiful the rest of the time. So the route, I'm going to go into in a minute. The full cost right now, what we're saying is that this is the high end. We're saying it's $3,000 to register. Typically what we had for 6 days was $1,500. That's what we charged last time. And so this is 2 weeks. So in essence, it's 2 weekends. It's 12 days of riding, 14 days out. But we cover everything. And what I mean by everything, anybody that knows that has gone on any of our routes, we have medical, we have food, we have a chef, and I see Chef Wayne on the call. You know, great food, always just, I mean, it's an amazing, I think we eat too much, but it's great food. We also supply you with insurance, and this is on top of your own insurance. Obviously, if you have insurance, this is on top of that, so we cover everything. We also, this is transportation to to McAllen, Texas, and also back to Richardson. This is all your snacks, all your liquids on the bike. The only thing we don't cover, and I'll talk a little bit about that, is if you abandon the ride. In other words, if you abandon the ride, let's say you say after the first 2 days, I'm done. We try our best to get you back to where you started from. But since we're starting in McAllen and not starting in Dallas, technically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be meeting in Dallas on a Thursday morning, and we're going to drive down to McAllen, and then we'll spend Thursday night in a hotel, and then Friday will be a kind of a rest day for a Friday and Saturday kind of rest day for us. But that's kind of how we do it. But if you abandon the ride, we try our best to either accommodate you with the riders, you become part of the support team, or if there's a way we can get you back to Dallas, we try to do that. Now, if you decide I got to get back to Dallas now, then obviously we'll try to get you to an airport at your expense to get you back. The maximum riders that we want to take are 30. That is a high number, but we believe that is a number that we can manage, because we're adding more support people. And I'm so grateful to my employer, Texas Conference, who is basically said that, yeah, we're all in on this. The education department, the president's department. I'm so excited that even the president said he's willing to drive the 2 weeks one of the vehicles. We're going to be using the conference vehicles for these, and some other vehicles as well. So we're super excited about that. Now let's go and look at the route here. So I'm going to actually come out of this in a minute, but this is what it looks like from the 35,000 feet up. That's it. You see, we're starting at the southernmost part of Texas, pretty much, and we're coming all the way up almost to to the northern part of Dallas, in the Richardson area. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come out of here, and I'm going to go ahead to the route, which is, if you are connected to our team, you will see it in Strava. All right, so let me pull this up. All right, here we go. Okay, so let me share this screen now. Stop sharing that. And let me choose another screen to share, and that is this one. Okay. All right, so I want to show you this screen here. Pretty much this is the first week right in here. The first 400 miles is pretty much the first week until we get to Houston. That's kind of like the midway point. That's the first weekend that we experience in Houston area. We're going to be going to the Houston Adventist Academy. We're going to invite all of the other schools in the area to come for that day. That's a weekend, and we'll be working on the logistics on that. But right here, you notice that as I'm going across, this is actually elevation. The elevation here is fairly low, but it's not until we start getting towards, going north towards Dallas, that you now start seeing the elevation climbing. Don't be afraid of the elevation, because this is not the Tour de France. So we're not hammering up these things. I mean, obviously some people go up hills a little bit better than others, but we always have support. There's always vehicles. There's always someone that is with you in a, either a rider and a vehicle, but there's always a vehicle. And if we spread out, it's not very, we can still see each other, and we always regroup. Now, we always let the medical people make the determination if somebody needs to come off the bike. I have dismissed myself of that because I'm a cyclist, so therefore I will stay on the bike through all kind of stuff. But we let our medical people make that determination. If someone is not being able to make it, they'll get them off the bike, rest them, and we'll make that determination. But as you see, the first week is pretty flat. During this time of the year, the prevailing winds are typically south to north, but they can switch at any time. They can be west to east. So it could be a cross wind or a tailwind, or it could be a headwind. But nevertheless, anyone that knows this area here, I've driven it a couple times. I'm no expert in this area on a bike, but it's pretty flat and it's pretty wide open. So there's probably going to be some crosswinds or some tailwinds. We pray for tailwinds, but that's the route. And you see it's 851, I say plus or minus 21,000 feet of elevation. And the estimated time of rolling is about 57 hours. You're probably saying, wow, that's a lot of time. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I don't want you to get too scared about that, because we'll definitely be dealing with it in a way that most people will be able to deal with it. Now, this is where this part comes in, where you have to do your part. You've got to train. I can't ride for you, so you've got to do your part, and you should already be in there getting your stuff done. Putting the miles in, putting the base miles in, start thinking about mentally and all those things. This is the time to do it. Now, I'm just going to, I kind of shared this slide already, but let me go ahead and go back in here. All right, I'm not going to go to full screen on this one, but I'm going to show you here. All right, so we leave once again Sunday morning. This is the actual riding part, not the leaving to from Dallas, but this is the actual riding part. So we leave on a Sunday morning at about 8 o'clock from McAllen, and then we head north. And I'm going to tell you each stop and tell you the mileage in each one. And then we arrive at the end of it in North Dallas. 12 days of riding, 70 to 80 miles a day, give or take. Once again, there's some days that we won't, there's some days that we will. Hotel stay is double occupancy. We will have a, depending on where we are with the COVID-19, we will have the COVID-19 precautions in place. The good thing about it is all of our hotels are already putting those things in place. So we just have to abide by them. Meals, once again, breakfast, lunch, meals on the bikes, snacks on the bikes, dinner, hotel, either the hotel, we will either cater it, or we will have our chef provide something for it. What I try to do is the chef typically cooks along the way, or has things ready for us along the way. And when we get there, but if we have the ability, if the hotel offers food and things like that, then we kind of put that in the cost of it, so that that's something that we don't have to worry about. But we're still working on that, because COVID has kind of thrown a monkey wrench in some things where a lot of places may not be offering it. But don't worry, we will definitely have that cater. I will let you know that this is a vegetarian ride. For those of you that are not vegetarian, you are welcome to run to get something to eat any place you like. Just remember that if you eat it and it upsets your stomach and you can't ride the next day, we will joke you for the rest of the tour. The other thing is that if you are vegan, if you have some other dietary restrictions that you want to let us know, when you register, please make sure you add that to your notes or shoot me an email. Do both to make sure that we accommodate that, and we will have to communicate that to whoever's catering. Support vehicles, like I said, it's about 4 to 6 support vehicles. And what that includes is our nurse, our doctors, a nurse's doctor, either or. We may have, my wife was a nurse practitioner last time. not sure she's going to do the full 2 weeks, but we always have medical people with us, and these aren't church health ministry leaders. These are medical people. In case you fall off your bike or get, something happens, they can minister medical to you. We also have mechanics, um, massage therapists. That's either massage therapist, chiropractor. We're working on those. And we always have someone that covers media, pictures, video, all that good stuff. We have security, we have drivers, and we have our chef and our A chef if we need it. So that's the breakdown on that. Moving on. All right, so here's the mileage breakdown. So day one is 75 miles. We're coming, like I said, from McAllen, and it's 75 miles to Fall Full-Off, whatever. We've been trying to figure out the name of that for. So that's 75 miles day one. Now you notice day two is 37 miles. It says 37 miles. There is a reason. There is a reason. And I did this very strategically because when you're leaving McAllen and you get to your first destination, that's typically, that first day is a shock for someone that's never done a multi-day ride, because how they feel at the end of the 75 miles will kind of determine how they will mentally go the rest of the go the rest of the way. So the next day that we have is only 37 miles. And you say, well, that's nothing. I can do 37 miles. Yeah, if you've done 75 or 80 miles or fondue and then got up the next day and did 50 miles, then you know how you feel. But most people don't necessarily ride again after they do a 75 mile. They'll take a day off. But I want to share with you that there's only, there's a Friday, a Saturday is the only day off. So these are multiple days. So, excuse me. So I have 37 on the second day, 44 on the third day, and we come into Corpus Christi. Now you're probably saying, well, those are, why don't we just put that another 70 day? Once again, it's not my first rodeo. I know how people feel. I know how I feel. So I want to make sure that those who have never done a multi-day ride understand this. Now you're looking at day four, and you're like, that's 119 miles. The distance between Corpus Christi and Victoria is 119 miles. That doesn't mean we're actually going to ride 119 miles. That's just a distance. Now, what I've done is that I've put this mileage in here because if we get out there and we're riding, we're at 70 miles and we're like feeling really good. And, we're like, hey, why don't we just go ahead and knock out a century? Because it is going west to east, and it's going not along the coast, but it's going parallel to the coast. That if you have a east to west wind, you're going to have a tailwind. It's going to push you. So you may feel like, hey, I could do 100. It's not hills. So, there's some little rollers, but it's not that bad. So that's why that mileage is there in case individuals say, hey, let's go ahead and do it. We'll have it in there. I suspect we won't, and we'll stick to the 70. Next one is 68 miles to Victoria to Walton. And then day 6, we come into the Houston, Katy area at 48 miles. And then that's where we have a break and we rest. And then we start back up on day 8, which is Sunday. And Sunday is 52 miles. And then Monday is 98 miles. Once again, there's that 98. That doesn't mean we'll ride it. That's the distance between it. Once again, you may feel like, hey, I got it. Let's roll. We do it. But we are saying that we're going to do about 75 miles a day. Some, may feel like we want to do more. We do more. Those that want to do more can do more. Those that don't, they don't have to. We'll load them in the vehicles so they can rest. And then there's day 10 is 43 miles, Georgetown to Killeen. Now we're starting to get into the hills. So come out of Houston, start getting into the hills. Killeen to Waco, 73. Waco to Cleburne, and it's actually not really Cleburne. It's actually going to be like Keene area, and some of these places we'll have rallies. We're riding into schools, and then we'll have lunch, and then we'll have a rally with the kids, and then we'll be done for the day. A lot of these things are going to be done by noon, 1 o'clock, so that the rest of the day is pretty much recovery. And then the last day, day 13, is kind of we ride into Cleburne, Keene to Richardson. Now, this is 72 miles, but this is really going to take some time because we're going through Dallas. So we're kind of snaking our way up through Dallas. We may jump on some trails that they have where our vehicles will have to meet us on the other side. That's still to be determined, but it's going to be, this is the last route, even though it's 72 miles, it's kind of one of those rides that, this is where you tell your family, line up on the side of the road and, wave to you, because this is a lot of, stopping and going through the city area. But that's the route. So if you notice, I have the Garmin, the GPX. You could download these. We'll be putting this on the website. You could also download it, I believe, from the Strava group. If you're not part of the Strava group, we'll have the link for you can share that as well. Matter of fact, I'm gonna, I think I put it, where'd it go? All right, I'll do it in a minute. Let's see. I'll share it with you guys in a minute with all the links. All right, speaking of hotels, so working on some deals with Marriott. Yes, I said Marriott. I didn't say Motel 6. I didn't say La Quinta. That may be your favorite hotel, but mine is Marriott because if I have to get mad at someone, I want to get mad at a big old company. And if we have to deal with them, we want to deal with them, deal with the company. And we have been giving some really good deals for Marriott's. There may be a couple places where there are no Marriott's and we may have to stay at like a Holiday Inn. But we do not, this is not your typical, tent, sleeping in a tent outside, carrying all your stuff. We don't do that. No, we don't do that. No, because I know you have to get up the next day and ride. So we try to make sure that the accommodations are top notch so that you are like, yeah. It is double occupancy, and that helps us keep the price down, the cost down. If you have someone that is joining you and you know that you guys want to be roommates, you let us know that you want to room with that individual. But it's pretty much for all the riders, it's pretty much double occupancy. And we try to accommodate. Now, once again, I will say this, that if something happens and there is a concern of staying with someone because of COVID and things like that, then we will talk with the hotels and see what we can do, which means that the number of rooms will increase, which also means that the price may fluctuate in some of these areas. But we're getting some really good deals, so hopefully it would not be the case. All right, so let me switch gears really quick because there may be some individuals that are interested, but they're thinking about walking, riding, or running, but they can't do it during that time. Well, we're actually starting a virtual one that we're saying that from basically now until December 31st, 2021, we're asking individuals to log their miles and to fundraise. And we're going to talk about a little bit about that, what some minimums are. Remember, this is a fundraiser, so we're asking all of those that are participating to do their part. And we've made some platforms and we got some things that help you be able to do that. But the good thing about this is that we have lots of people that like to walk, like to run, that even like to cycle virtually. And all they have to do pretty much is register and then say, hey, I'm committed to raising $800 for 800 miles. In other words, they're going to raise $800. And so they're asking someone, will you give me $1 for every mile I walk, run, or ride? And they can ask people to give them $10 here, $5 there. But their minimum goal, what they're trying to raise, is simply $800. And that goes into that pot for that 1.5 million that we're trying to raise for all of our students. And the good thing about this is that this is not just for this year. It's a 2-year deal that we're trying to do. And hopefully by the end of the 2 years, we will be closer to our goal of 1.5 million, which is exciting because the good thing about it is our schools, I mean, they were really excited. We already have one school that's already raised $1,000, and they're looking to do another $2,000, a total of $3,000. And this is a really small school. We're so excited about it. But they also said that they want to follow us and use the math, use it in a math class to have like the wind velocity versus the speed. I was like, yeah, that's why I went into communication. I'm not a math guy. So I'm like, however you want to use it. But the good thing about it is that each rider will be connected to a school. In other words, once you register, we will assign a school to you, and that school will be your cheerleaders. They will root you on. They will watch you during your training, not like, creepy watching you during training, but they will follow you on Strava. They will send you little notes. They'll take pictures. They'll do videos. They may even send you some little handwritten cards or some things on social media just saying, hey, we're with you. Because ultimately, we're doing it for them, but we're also doing it for ourselves because of our health. But we're doing it honestly because we want to show them, hey, as leaders, this is what we can do. We want to do this for you. We don't know you. We don't know any of these schools. We don't, we may not know any of the students in the school, but we want to say that we're supporting them. All right. So that's the virtual. We're adding all of these different components to it. All right. So here's the way you can log your miles. And once again, if you're not already part of the Strava club, here's the address to get to it. It's in the chat that I'm going to send out as soon as I stop sharing my screen. You could actually connect to the team. And once you connect to the team, then you'll be able to, let me make sure I can move this in. Oh, there we go. Okay. You'll be able to log your miles through Strava. And the good thing about it is it's not just cycling, it's walking and running. And it'll categorize, and these are what we call verifiable miles. So if you have a Fitbit, an Apple Watch, or something like that connected to Strava, it'll automatically give it to you. The only thing that you'll have to do really is just register to say that I'm committed to raising X amount of dollars. We're still working with our company on the virtual registration, but the actual cycling registration is available. And for the virtual registration, you see that's the address here. Once again, I have that in what it will share with you also. Their goal, $800. That's a fundraising goal we want everybody to shoot for. Don't stop, but shoot there. So if your spouse says, I don't ride, but I will walk with my friends at work, hey, ask them, say, hey, why don't we sign up as a team? And then we could do this together, and they could raise that money. And the minimum goal for prizes, yes, we'll have some prizes. You gotta at least raise $300. I mean, we gotta show some kind of commitment, not just logging miles. All right. So let your family, friends know that they can also be a part of this. All right. So here we go. Conditions, riding conditions. It's moderate to difficult route. It's flat at the beginning and hills. We talked about it second week. And when I say moderate, this is where, your fitness has to be, where you are. And if you feel like, man, I can do this, if you're saying this right now in your mind, yeah, I can do this, you're not ready yet. So you need to be saying right now, oh my goodness, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. That's what you should be saying, because then that means that you're going to go out and do it. But if you're saying, oh, I'm good, that means you're going to start eating all kinds of stuff. I got to admit, I had some Pringles today and I'm feeling really bad right now because I should not have done that. But see, because now your mind is like, I need to stop eating that. I've already given up my sugar, but you got to start putting a mindset, because as you get closer to this, your body is going to start changing. You're going to feel like, oh man, I can never do this. And as you get closer to it, it's like, wow, I feel like I can do this. And we'll be sharing some training plans like the 8-week century, riding a century in 8 weeks, unless you're riding with Lido. And your century will be a lot sooner than 8 weeks, even when you didn't want it to be. Just want you to think about those things. Elevation, 3% to 7% over bridges. Then we get to the hill country. the elevation is going to go. It's a lot of rollers. So for my people that are down in the areas where it's not a lot of hills and stuff, the best training that you can do is resistance wind training. Ride straight into that headwind. Don't try to avoid it on your rides. Just get in there and get those legs and the body ready for that. The pace, 15 to 25 miles an hour. Why did I say 25 miles an hour? Because on many of our rides that we did in the last few years, we were hitting 40 miles an hour with tailwinds, and also with being behind a vehicle that may have been drafting. So we get up pretty fast, but typically it's 15 miles an hour. If you could hold with a group for 15 to 17 miles an hour for 2 or 3 hours, you're fine. You're fine. And most people, when they go out in group rides, it's about 15 mile an hour, 15 to 17 mile an hour. We're not hammering. I mean, there may be parts where we may get all crazy and say, let's go, we take off, but it's not for long, trust me. Not on a multi-day ride, it's not long. Support, it's a group ride on the shoulder and the road, and I'm gonna be checking that part out to make sure that it's safe. And once again, I'll be checking with the police to find out where we can go, and we'll be asking for escorts where areas that we can't, that may be difficult. Supporting rest stops, we have 35 miles, 55 miles, 70 miles. And when I say supported rest stops, what I mean is, this is where we will physically stop. Everybody will physically stop and just get a breather. But all along, when we're riding, we basically, individuals in the vehicle actually share. If you've ever seen the Tour de France, they pull up on the side of us and give us water bottles, give us snacks and things like that. So it's pretty cool. They won't run you over, but they supply you with all the things you need. You just have to let them know what you need, and then we go from there. I already mentioned about the abandonment, and then trying to get you back to the beginning of Dallas. So here we go. We have what's called the pace line groups. It's one group, but these are some of the pace line speeds in which you can go. Obviously, 15 to 16 miles an hour is a normal pace. 17 to 19 is flats with tailwind, those things. But if every group is different, and so we gauge it. We typically ride to the slowest person. In other words, my goal is to encourage you to get to that 15, even that 17 mile an hour. If that's your goal, you have almost a year to do it in. Get to that. When you're riding by yourself, push yourself. When you're riding with a group, stay with the group. Find a group that pushes you, and you'll find that within the next 3 or 4 weeks, your body will adjust to it, and you'll be like, okay, I'm good. So always be trying to push yourself, but also find routes and rides that don't put you in a sufferfest. Now, we like to call this sufferfest because it does something to the body. I mean, it's a lot of miles, it's a lot of time, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it gets rough. It gets rough, but I will tell you this: we never leave anyone behind. We never let anyone go. We push each other, and some of us train harder just so that we can help others. And so, the group that's ridden with us for the last few years, it's an amazing group. I mean, I love all of the riders that ride with us. They're always encouraging, and we have a great time. But the one thing I really appreciate is that they're willing to help others. They're willing to push others beyond where someone wants, would normally go, and they're willing to stay with you to get you through. They coach you up, and they keep talking to you. It's an encouragement. And we learned a lot from our first ride back in 2015. I mean, we learned a lot. We learned what to do and what not to do. And so every year we get better. We get better. So those are the pace lines we're talking about. Now, here's something that I want to just share with you that I don't encourage you to do this. Some people have aero bars, but here's the reason why we don't really recommend aero bars on our group rides. So let me just show this. Yeah. So we don't really encourage you to do that, to have them. I had one person tell me and say, well, I've got a bad shoulder, and so therefore it gives me the opportunity to lay down. I said, granted, I got that, but we really don't want to, because when we're in that pace line, and like I said, there are hours and hours and hours of straight just riding. And then there are moments where if a dog comes out, if there's gravel, you can't get to your brakes in time. So you may end up falling. You may end up taking some people down with you if you're down in that arrow. Um, and listen, I got a bad shoulder, bad back, bad knees, but I stay away from the arrow bars in a group ride just because you may not be able to get to them quick enough to hit those brakes. All right. So before I go into the registration process, I'm gonna. Are there any questions? I've been rambling for a little bit, and just see if there are any questions. And if there are any questions, I'm gonna have Tamara, if she's able to read them to me, because I can't see them because I'm sharing my screen here. All right, no questions. All right, we rolled it. Here we go. Registration process. These links will be shared with you. Is that a question? Somebody unmuted? Okay. All right. So here's the registration process. When you go to this link, it takes you to, I'm going to show you what it looks like, what the page looks like, because there's a team registration, as I mentioned before, there's a team registration, and then there's a virtual registration. If you're part of the team, it looks like this. And let me go back to my shared screen. And we want this one. Okay. So this is, can you guys see my screen? You guys see that? Okay, good. All right. So this is the team, the determined team. This is our page. And on the page here is, once you get here, you click on this button right here. It says click to join the determined cycling team. And once you do that, it takes you to this page. We're tweaking this because you see there's 1, 2, 3, 5, 1 week option, full tour. The people that were doing this thought that this was a 1 week tour. It's actually 2 weeks. And this will turn to 6 days, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day. So the cost obviously changes, and I'm going to go over that in a minute with you on the cost. But this is the registration. You go through, it has all the information you have in here. Remember I mentioned about the meals you put in here, your dietary restrictions here. And this kind of gives you, when was your most recent cycling tour? You said this will be your first one. This kind of gives you a recreational, active, and advanced. This kind of tells you where you fit in. So you'll know where you are. Are you a casual rider? Are you a recreational rider? Are you active? Are you advanced? And it's okay. Wherever you are is, we want you to kind of go through that. It also has the cancellation policy, what goes in there. And then also you get the option to say, okay, I want to pay all the $3,000. I don't want to fundraise any part of it. Or you can actually go say, I want to pay over 11 months. I want to pay quarterly. And then you kind of go from there and make that decision right here. And then you hit submit, and then you're good to go. Like I said, we're tweaking it, but if you wanted to register today and start, the payment, you can do that. It doesn't, what you do here doesn't matter if you're doing the full ride. And this is for the determined team. And you know what, that's the reason why I think the options should not be in here. Now that I'm thinking about it, because this is for the actual 30 individuals. Those other options should really be on something else, and we'll work with the other people on that. So if you're registering for the full tour, you will select this one right here, and you know that the cost is $3,000, and then you will go through this process right here and determine where you want it and how you want to do it. All right. So that's that part. That cost as the education. Oh, I just lost. Oh, hang on. There was a question that came in, says, okay, how much the cost does the education versus the cost of the event? All right, so the question comes in is how much does I'm assuming the education fundraising part of it, how much? Okay, good question. So what we're saying is the cost to actually do this, if there was no fundraising, if we didn't have a cause, if we were just kind of like, we're just, a bunch of cyclists that just want to get out there and ride, it would be about $2,500, 25 to $3,500. That's roughly how much it would be. Because you think about when we did 1 week, it was $1,500. So if you do 2 weeks, obviously it would double, but you can obviously get incentives from hotels if you stay longer. But it would be about between $2,500 and $3,500 for something like this. American Red Cross for 1 week is $2,500 minimum for fundraising. You have to fundraise the $2,500 even to get into it. So what we're saying is that, okay, it's $3,000, which includes your fundraising. If you raise $8,000, bless your heart, man, we are so grateful. But your minimum is $3,000, because 500 of that is going to go to the 1.5 million. That's your part. You're saying that I'm riding because I love cycling, and we are grateful for that. But remember, we want to show that what we're raising, there's part of that is going to a school. That's part of that that's going to a student. And when I did the math on some of these things, if we had 30 individuals, we could actually pay tuition for multiple kids for a whole year. And I got ecstatic when I started thinking about that. I said, every time I turn a pedal over, I could actually be paying for someone to attend a wonderful school. My kids are no longer, I have my youngest son is a junior in college, and once he's gone, he's gone. So my kids are, now I'm saying that when I'm pedaling, I can actually help someone. So we want to keep that mindset that what I'm raising is also supporting someone else. Yes, it's going to get me in this event, but it's also going to help someone else. And that's really the thing that I get excited about, because I ride all week, and none of that goes towards anybody. So we want to make sure that we support that. All right, man, these things keep going quick. All right, let's see. The tour brings attention to Adventist education along the route. Also, yes, the good thing about this is that we're actually walking and riding and running billboards for education and health, which is amazing, because the conversations that we have with people about why we're doing it, they're like, oh, I didn't even know. Oh yeah, that school, there's a school right down the road. And so it becomes a connection and a network that we're doing something for people that if nobody did anything, some people may not have the opportunity, and we want to give people the opportunity. And I think that's one of the beauties of doing this, because you never know, we may be riding down the road. And I remember in our first year, we were riding, and this lady pulled up to us, and we were on a gravel road. And this lady pulled up to us and said, "What are you guys doing?" I said, "We're riding." I said, "Why are you riding?" And we told her why we're riding. And she reaches in her purse and gives us $20. And she's like, "Here, I hope this can help. This is all I have." And I was just like, wow, here we are on a gravel road in the middle of nowhere. And, she gave us $20. And it's those kind of things that, they don't know us, but yet they're willing to give a cause to a cause. All right, let's move on here. Let me go back to my screen, and there we go. All right. So registration, I talked about the $3,000 is full register. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to hit the button. There we go. $3,000 is for the full registration. I've got too many windows open here. Okay, there you go. $3,000 for the full registration. That covers everything: registration fee, insurance, meals, snacks, lodging, support, and also your fundraising endeavor, transportation back to Dallas. We do have these other ones for 6 days. I can only do a week. Well, here it is, 6 days. It covers your fees, your insurance, meal, snacks, everything except really the ride back. And we can work on that depending on how many people are going, how many people need to go back, how many people want to go back, how many people are want to stay on, or find other ways. So we can work that out. That's something we do. Now, when it gets down to 3-day registration, it's $800. That's because they're still staying in a hotel with us. They're still eating food. There's still insurance, and there's still support that is given. You do 2 days, it's $400, roughly about $200 each day. And if you do a day, $75, you ride with us, you get you covers your registration fee, insurance, meals, snacks, and support. And then we'll most likely all of these things, these rides. If you're in these things, you get part of the goodie bags, not goodie bag, well, kind of the what we give for the cyclists. The 30, the total individuals in the 30 group, that's the team. Everybody else, they get something, but it's not what individuals that are doing the whole thing get. And what I encourage you to do is that, some people say, well, I can't get off that much time off work. You haven't asked. That's the beauty of it, is because some companies are looking for people. There's community service hours in which they can do. There's some kind of incentive that they may offer. They may have matching for their company. Your company may say, you know what, I'll sponsor you if you could wear a jersey or logo on your jersey for our company. We have several ways to get you off work. If you are, and here's, I will let you know, if you are a pastor or a teacher, here, you're going to like this. Number one, you don't have to take vacation. Number two, if you're a teacher, you get a sub. Number three, it's still considered work, not in the sense that you're actually having fun doing this part. I'm not saying that your work is not fun, but you don't have to take vacation. And all the things apply as if you're going to a conference, except for you don't get per diem because we're fully entertained. We're feeding you. So I know y'all like, oh, per diem, that. Sorry, no per diem. You only get the partial, whatever the partial thing is. But we cover pretty much everything else, and you don't have to take vacation. You don't even have to take your missionary. What is that? 2 weeks that they give you. Don't have. It's still considered work. You just have to have coverage for your church, and if you're a teacher, the VP superintendent Keisha Norris has said that she would already pay for a sub for you. So yay! All right. Here we go. All right. Fundraising initiatives. Obviously, we mentioned before, minimum $3,000. The next level is that $1,500 minimum for the 6 days. And everybody else doesn't really have a minimum underneath that. They could just say, I want to join. But these two categories, there's still a fundraising minimum, which if you're doing 6 days, that's why that $1,500 is coming in. It's still, and then we're going to be recognizing the top fundraisers. Obviously, we have some incentives that we want to give. I mentioned about sponsorship. Here's where kind of corporate sponsorship comes. We're still working on some different things. We're really playing around with a small business one, small organization one, and then we're also looking for some bigger ones, like some of our corporations that some hospitals and things like medical, any of those things. We really want to get those. But here's some of the ones that we've had in the past, and we also we've kind of reached out to them at this point. Road ID. If you don't know what Road ID is, you can Google that. They give us bibs with numbers on them, and that's really, we don't really use them. We give them to the runners and walkers in the virtual. They get a bib, and then they also give us these discount cards. In other words, you get like 25% off something. So they give us like a little grab bag with a bunch of things in it that come in handy. And then Honey Stinger, we love Honey Stinger. We're trying to get them as a bigger sponsor this year. They sponsored us for 3 years. We try to get them as a bigger sponsor and actually have them supply our on bike nutrition, which includes natural honey, wafers and things like that. If you don't use them now, try them out. They're pretty cool. They have some really good stuff, and it's really natural. Some of this stuff is really, really, really good. All right, resources. That's not the right resource. Sorry, wrong one. That's from last year. Is that it? No. Okay, here we go. So we have our links here, and I mentioned before, that's my contact information. But now we're going to kind of open up for questions. I'm going to shoot you guys these links so I can stop sharing my screen. And if you have any questions, now is the time. I'm going to go ahead and send everybody. Once my thing goes here. Okay, there we go. So you have the links. And the good thing about it is I will shoot these over in the email. We're, once again, I mentioned before, we're recording all of these, this webinar. So if you missed any part of it, you can go back. We'll put it on probably our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to watch it. It's also on Facebook. So are there any questions? Any questions?
One.
Yes, sir.
Do we need to have a street bike, or a mountain bike is something that can be used?
You know, it's a good question. I'm glad you asked this question because I normally have a slide and I think I skipped it. This is a road bike, road cycling. We don't allow individuals to actually use a mountain bike because there's no way you'll be able to keep up with a road bike or the mountain bike. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say that. Let me stop. There may be people that will do it, but we try not to have mountain bikes on these routes because this is a road cycling. So it is better to have a road cycling bike. And if you don't have one, now is, well, we're in this what do you call it? We're in this boom where bikes are very scarce. So I would, first of all, find out what size you are, and then maybe go and look for a bike on Craigslist or eBay, and just look at the specs on that bike, because used bikes are still good. I mean, bikes are not like they were back in the day. The question was asked about gravel roads. No, we don't. The first route the first ride that we had a map, and we didn't understand what that part of it was, and we realized it was about 20 miles of gravel, but by then we were already into it. So we don't do gravel. That's why I'm going to actually do a route survey. I'm actually going to go with my GPS and actually physically drive the route. I take pictures, I take video, I take notes of every part of it, where some dangerous spots are, try to work around those. No, we try to stay away from gravel roads. That was the first year we learned that lesson, and we want to stay away from those. All right, Ken, what is the range of sponsorship you're looking for small business? The range of sponsorship for small businesses, basically, they start as high as the highest for small business is $10,000. I think it's $10,000, or was it 30? It's somewhere around there, but there is with every, let me see if I can pull that up fairly quickly and give you that. With every sponsorship, there is a certain level of what you get. Our corporate, I want to say corporate sponsorship, is the Texas Conference. They're the name, they're the title sponsor, even though we don't really have Texas Conference in the title of the determined, but it is technically Texas Conference Determined Cycling Tour 2021. So they have the title. So anyone else that comes underneath that, or anyone else that offers any kind of sponsorship at a higher level, is typically considered a partner. And so let me look at this really quick, and I can tell you the highest level for a small business sponsorship is called friendship sponsorship, and that's $15,000. At $15,000, friendship sponsorship, you receive basically one entry. So a company, if they sponsor at $15,000 level, that actually pays for the cyclist. I mean, that company is basically paid for the cyclist to be a part of it. The business name is visible on the jersey. We haven't determined where. We kind of put the torso right now, but front and back, but top shoulder of the jersey, or on the front of the bibs, the shorts, depending on where it goes. And that really depends on who is the top level. So if we get a company that gives $500,000, obviously they're gonna cover some major areas. But if our highest sponsorship this year, by the time we get our jerseys and things created, if our highest sponsor is $15,000, then they're going to be put in a prominent area. Because once we create a jersey and we put sponsors on them, the next time that we can actually create a new jersey is when we get multiple more a significant number more sponsors, because then they'll have to be added to the jerseys and put in different areas. So there's several, prominent. Basically, you're a walking billboard. You're on the website. The individual of that company can ride. In other words, the CEO of that company says that they want to come at the end of the route. I mean, at the end of the was that the 24th? On the 24th, they can come to that last rally, but they can ride in a vehicle for the last 30 miles. And that's kind of a way of showing this individual that they're a VIP. Their company has done this. We appreciate them. And then there are, obviously, every time we have any kind of press conference, any kind of thing, we're in a news website, marketing material, anything we send out, posters and things like that, to bike shops and things, their logo is prominent there as well. So that's the highest level for, we call it the friendship level. And then it kind of drops down to all the way to products only, product contribution. So if there's a company that wants to give in-kind gifts, I want to give you all the Gatorade. Like we had HEB gave us a sponsorship for water, and it wasn't Gatorade, I think it was Powerade or something, Powerade Zero. So those kind of things we accept. Obviously, all donations are tax deductible because we are a nonprofit 501c3. So all companies can know that. So that's what we, as far as sponsorship, that's what we offer in a nutshell. All right. There was another question. Some small businesses may donate items. Yes. So yes, small businesses can, churches can donate. So if you have a church and they want to sponsor, we want to sponsor, I don't know, water, because we never run out of water. So water, we want to sponsor first aid kits, those kind of things. If I would say, what do you want to give? And then we will see if that's something that we need or will be beneficial. If somebody says they want to give us, a rack of lamb, no, we can't. We're not going to use it. We can't use it. But if somebody wants to give us granola bars or things like that, yes, we'll definitely take it. We'll definitely take it because it's something that we would end up using. Right?
Yeah.
Any other questions?
What? For me.
Anybody else have any questions? So let me ask you guys a question. What are your thoughts?
I have a question.
Feel? Yes. All right.
Okay. You said the minimum of donation is pledges is about 300. The maximum is 800, right? Now, I mean, you can get more than 800, but the requirement for right now.
If you're part of the
team,
the 2-week team, no, the minimum for that is $3,000. That's okay. That's the minimum for that. And you brought up a good point. The question is also about joining the team. So here's the thing: when you join the team, I'm going to share something. Where is it? Got a lot of windows open here. Once you register, you actually get a page where you can actually fundraise for yourself. And I'm going to pull up. All right, here we go. Let me share this so you guys can see this. So when you, is that the right way? Yes. Okay. When you register, this basically, can you guys see my screen now? Okay. So you get this page becomes where you will find individuals on the team. So here's mine right here. So I go to my page, I click on that, and you notice I've got a number up here that's associated with me. So I can
72.
tell my
Mhm.
friends
Mhm.
Texas Ride 6 to 71777. And that means that anytime someone does that, I get it goes into my basically
You
my
are found.
bucket. Yeah. And
Okay.
so what I've done here is this is my little story about why I'm riding, you know.
Mhm.
And then I've got a couple videos on here. But guess what? When you do it, you customize your page. You put whatever you want here. So um, my donors will come up here when they start. Someone can make a donation. And if someone says, you know what, I want to make a donation, but I also want to sign up, they click on the sign up. Here it is, virtual registration. So they become virtual registered, and they could actually start, fundraising on their own. And then we kind of put these little things in here to get a t-shirt guarantee, 500-mile prize. This is for them on the virtual aspect of it. But this is where did my page go? It's there we go. So this is my page right here. And so once you register, this is how you actually start raising funds. Right here, you tell your people. And look, if I click on here, Facebook, it takes me to a Facebook link where you can use the verbiage that's already there. You could add your own verbiage. It says I'm fundraising. You can, whatever you have put in your account, that's what you can do. And we're going to actually, once we're going to put on the website um, at texasadventist.org/determine, we're actually going to put instructionals how you can set up your own. We're waiting for the company to send us a tutorial step by step, and you'll be able to do that and customize it on your own. Same thing with Twitter and also email. So if I want to send an email, I hit that. There it is, right there. They can donate right there. Okay.
So yeah, as well as the people that might chose that they can't do the whole long run. I'm not part of the team.
Yeah.
But yet they can come in and ride for a few days. Says you're gonna start on Sunday, right? And they could come in and say maybe this Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, right?
Yeah. So they would have to choose like a they would have to choose like a 1 day, 2 day, or 3 day. They can't come in and say, hey, I want to do 4 days, because we're going to round it up to whatever the cost is for to do whatever was it 5 days or 6 days. So it's better if they're going to commit to doing something, they say, okay, if I'm going to commit I'm going to do 3 days, and then I want to commit, the rest of the time doing it virtually, then we could talk about what that is. But once again, our goal is it is a fundraiser. It is awareness. It is giving opportunity. And remember, every dollar you raise, and that's the thing I really want to stress, that every dollar you raise has the power to change a life. And so that's really, think about that whole concept is that every dollar you raise will affect someone positively. And so we have some other things that we'll be sharing, like 10 things, 10 things that you should know about, this event or whatever. There's just lots of things that we want to add to make sure that people are being able to utilize the platform in a powerful way. So that's the actual fundraising page. And once you register, you actually get the access to be able to do those things. All right. Any other questions?
You mentioned you're gonna have a chef along the way. Is our old chef or someone new? Because I already prayed about it.
Well, he's on the video here. He's smiling. You know,
Well,
I'm not putting any pressure. I'm not putting any pressure on him. I'm not putting any pressure on Frank. I'm not putting any pressure on my brother Satellite either. But you know, I'm just you know, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. There's some things that you know, I've already explained to my administration that the individuals that I would love to have with us, and they are fine with that. We're just going to make sure that there are some things that we have to do to make sure that that's possible. But you know, my philosophy: if it's not broke, why fix it? If it's not broke, so but it's up to them. I mean, I'm just, you know, I'm just saying.
This year I might try to bring my partner with me.
Okay. All right.
She'd be a great hand in that area.
Okay.
You know who that is?
Yeah, I know what that is.
Okay.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
We talk. Okay.
All right. Are there any other questions? Now, I will say this. One of the things that you want to do, and I recommend doing this now, if you're not sure, if you're kind of in that valley decision on if you want to register or not, I would say, you know, first of all, pray about it. Next thing you do is, if you're saying, you know, well, man, I don't know about the money issue, just create a list of donors, people you know, family. Christmas is coming up. You know, you'll be surprised how quick you can get $3,000. I mean, it's not hard. But if you ask people if they know what you're doing, you know, if you register, what I would recommend is you do this. Register, because you don't have to pay the full amount now. Register now and start fundraising. If you get to the part where you're like, it's just not going to happen, I can't do it, it's just not going to work, then call me, you know, and then we could talk. But register now and start the process, because once the momentum gets going and once you start letting people know what you're doing, they're going to hold you to it. Just give you a quick story that, you know, this week, well, excuse me, last week, I was like, man, I don't know what I was thinking about doing this. I was just like, man, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to fly. I don't know who's interested, you know, and I go through this every single time. But then I came into work on yesterday, or was it today? And then I was told that one of our schools had already raised $1,000, already took our president's challenge of finding 500 people to give $1,000 by September. And I was, and this is a small school. And I was like, man, if this small school is willing to, you know, hear my presentation and go out already and find $1,000 and then get 2 more thousand for a total of 3,000, I said, man, let me stop whining. So I had to have my little pity party. I ended my pity party early, and I was like, we're in it. We're in it. So I just encourage you that, you know, if you're feeling like you're not sure or you don't know if you can do it, I say, you know, just put it out there. Just put it out there. You'll be surprised on what you can do, because every year we say the same thing, man, we're not gonna do this again. And then every year, God comes through to us. And I just encourage you just to, you know, just do it. It's something that you could say that you've done that many people have not. And you'll get a t-shirt out of it. We'll make sure you get a t-shirt. Any other questions?
He's a way maker.
Yes, he
a
is.
way for all of us.
He is.
Don't doubt the power of
Yes,
the
sir.
He make it. So let us be not optimistic, but positive. Yes, we can.
Yes, and you need to recruit your Houston people.
Yeah, well, I'm going to start working on that. That's why I'm on the line. Anyone else is on?
Cool.
Now, I'm a little down now, but I can't wait to get over what I'm going through, and then I'm going to be back on that bike.
All right. All right.
I'm coming. God
All
willing.
right. All right.
I'm coming for the long run.
All right. Are there any other comments, questions, concerns? How do you guys feel about it? You know, we still have room. I mean, there's let's see, we've got 17 people on this call. We still got room for more people. So you know, start talking about it. We're gonna create some little postcards, little little things that you can share on your rides with the individuals. I talk about it, a lot, and I talk about as many people I can because, and one of the main reasons why I do it is because I want people to suffer just like me. So I want you to have some fun in this thing. But if there are no other questions, no other comments, we can definitely close out with a word of prayer, and then we'll let everybody go. All right, let's pray. Father, we thank you once again for this opportunity to just talk about these plans for 2021. Lord, we know that our best laid plans will always fail if you're not in the midst of it. So, Lord, we ask that you would just be in the midst of it, just guide and direct us. Lord, be with all of the individuals on this call, their interests, their desire, Lord, and also their sphere of influence. There may be individuals that they're connected to, other cyclists, other runners, other walkers, that may be interested, looking for something to shoot for in 2021. Lord, we just ask that it would be an opportunity for us to just work with as many people as we possibly can, and to do those things that are pleasing in your sight and be a witness to you. We thank you for all of them. I pray for them. I pray for their families, Lord. Just watch over them, be with their health, and just guide us as we finish out 2020 as we look forward to 2021. Lord, we thank you for all that you do for us. We pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
All righty, guys. Thank you. Ladies, thank you for joining us. And I appreciate all that you do. Once again, you have the links. We will email the links to you. If you register for this, obviously you gave us your email. So we're going to email those links to you as well, so you can have them. And we look forward to seeing you again. If not before in a ride together, we will look forward to seeing you in September. God bless.
God bless.